let's go live. Are we almost live? We are almost
Fine,
live.
I don't win. Let's just go live.
All right, we're live. What's up, guys? Welcome to Beastly Thoughts, episode 124.
Nailed it.
Glad to see you. Beastly, I am shocked that you're wearing a PlayStation t-shirt right now. After the amount of hate I saw in your videos all week for PlayStation, I am shocked. I'm surprised it doesn't say Xbox right across your chest right now. Team Xbox.
Let me just say that the hate is not over. I got a few more videos coming out this week. Just, I got to keep it real, man. I love PlayStation exclusives. I love, some of the developers that work with PlayStation. And up until now, I've loved pretty much every choice that Sony's made up until about a good solid week ago. And now it's like I feel like I did when the Xbox One was revealed. I'm like, fuck you. I'm feeling really angry about Sony right now. I think that their message is really mixed. I don't think that they're focused on what they need to be as far as getting the consumers on board. I don't like them refusing to put mods on Fallout 4.
I've been taking all this pretty well myself.
I can see. I wish I could reach through the screen and take a swig with you, my friend. But yeah, man, I love my PlayStation games. I still love them. I think that the future could still be bright as long as Sony decides to, turn back around and go the direction they were going. But hell, it's been a hell of a week, guys. There's been a lot of things happening, a lot of stuff revealed, and I know it's going to be a great show. It's been 2 weeks since I've been on the show.
Yeah, man.
2 weeks.
3 weeks. Well, last time you were here was 3 weeks ago. You missed two episodes.
I missed 2 complete weeks.
Yeah.
And now I can feel my balls growing once again. They've shriveled up, man.
Oh god.
Whenever I'm not
restart now.
They've shriveled. Now they are the size of a moose's balls just from being back on Beastly Thoughts.
Dude, my dog, we got a black Labrador that we bought in January, so he's only 9 months old. This motherfucker's walking around with a couple of oversized walnuts. Just swinging around.
Swinging those balls around.
Every time he turns around, I'm like, are you trying to make me jealous here? What is going on? They're fucking huge.
Yeah. They'll get you sometimes.
Really, a couple of super pinkies drop through under his leg.
To keep it real, all right. I think every animal has a one-up on human beings. I used to breed hamsters, and those fuckers got balls that are half the size of their bodies. and I used to get jealous and say, "Shit, I want to be a hamster." Be in a cage running the damn wheel all day.
I can't imagine that hamster balls are going to make a human jealous. I mean, just the proportions here, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I'm starting to wonder about your... I'm really starting to wonder about your own personal endowment.
Hey, my wife is pregnant right now. I don't want to hear that shit. Now look. I'll do it like Donald Trump. I can guarantee you there's no problem. Okay? Shit. Hamsters, man, half their body mass is balls, man. Can you imagine if you were just riding a bike and your balls were as big as your legs? Every woman on the street would be watching you ride that bike.
You'd gain some real attention.
That's how hamsters roll, man.
Yeah. Is it like Johnny Dangerously? You ever see that movie with elephantitis? Yeah. The guys walking around, they got beach balls in their pants.
Yeah, that's how it is. All right.
Oh, shit.
I want to be a hamster. So, I'm so happy to see you guys. Let me say that. Let me apologize to everybody for not being here those 2 weeks. Obviously, there's a few things that happened that prevented us from going. One was a holiday, another was a family situation. But now we're back, and we've had 2 weeks, or at least a solid week, to talk about what we've been playing. Robbie, what have you been playing for the last 7 days?
I'm sorry, I gotta cut on for a minute. This stream is really having some issues.
I'm working on that, Robbie, as we talk. But remember, this is a show for everybody.
It's a live
not just the stream.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know. Okay,
type that
thanks,
in chat
Briar.
if you need to communicate with me.
Yeah. What have I been playing this week? I don't even remember, to be honest.
I played some Destiny. Surprise, fucking surprise.
Wow. Now, Briar, it's been a couple of weeks. I gotta ask you, what has that been all about? There's been some new exciting stuff going on in the world of Destiny.
Yeah,
I've seen some of your videos.
Hell yeah.
Some new awesome weapons. I'm really going to get back into it and start playing it.
Yeah.
I have to. there's some really exciting stuff. What have you liked the most of the new revelations in Destiny?
Well, I mean, we've had like this constant news stream coming out for like the last half of the summertime. Now we're finally getting to play some of this new content that we've heard so much about. Update 2.4 dropped Thursday. And with it, this is the update that actually has the new DLC in it, right? And with that, they gave us a new exotic weapon, the Trespasser. They made a ton of changes to weapons for PvP, the Crucible. They just made, like, it's really just like, okay, get prepared for the new content, which is dropping right around the corner on the 20th. That's 9 days away. I can't wait, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like it's gonna be lit. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to see it. But now, I've been basically preparing my characters so that once the 20th hits, once the new content hits, we've got 3 days to do before the raid comes out, right? It's the new raid will come out 3 days later. And I'm going to be doing the raid with the Planet Destiny folks, and we're going to be attempting the world's first completion, right? So I've got 3 days to level up my character as much as possible in preparation for that raid. So I'm going to be going fucking hard on Destiny for those 3 days.
I remember the last time you guys attempted that. It was like 13 hours it took you guys, right?
Yeah, approximately 13 hours. Yeah,
that is a big, that's a lot to dedicate yourself to, and I admire that, man. Now, this new exotic that you guys got, it's the hand cannon, correct?
It's a sidearm, and it's a burst fire sidearm, and it looks pretty cool. I haven't gotten it yet. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't lucky enough to get it. I don't have a whole lot of engrams saved up, so I just wasn't able to go through a bunch of engrams and get it, but I'm looking forward to it. People say it's fun. It's still sidearm though, so there's that.
Yeah. Well, as someone who used to play Destiny a lot, I never ever got into using a sidearm, so who knows what will happen. I can just say this: I'll definitely get back into it once this DLC hits. I'm waiting for the 21st though. That's the big day for me. I know that you're going to be playing with new toys on the 20th, but on the 21st, I'm going to find out if I'm having a girl or a boy.
Whoa.
So I'm super excited about that.
Wow.
I get to go out and buy new toys for a new person. But I've actually delved back into a game that I bought a while back because of the new DLC Salvation for Black Ops 3. Now, I used to really be into Call of Duty just like you, Briar. And over the years, these last few years, it's kind of changed. There's been new genres of games blossoming, and a lot of games doing what Call of Duty used to do even better than Call of Duty. But I've been playing this new Salvation DLC, and I've been having a blast. My wife and I have been playing it since, I think, Friday night, and it's been almost a nonstop thing. And I really, really enjoy those new maps. They do have Standoff from Black Ops 2, if you remember that map.
Oh, yes.
The big statue in the center. It has a whole new, beautiful look. It's a Western take on it. It feels so familiar, but looks so different. And it's just a hell of a lot of fun. And I actually talked to my wife about that earlier, that over the last couple of years, we've been talking about these maps kind of being reborn on new Call of Duties and how it's becoming kind of redundant and superfluous to even have them, brought back. But once you play an old map you used to love and it looks totally different and you're able to traverse the map in a different way, like running on walls and stuff, it does feel kind of fresh and new. I've been having a hell of a good time playing that. I'm also still playing Metal Gear.
The map where I think I posted my highest KDs, like I bet I had more gameplays when I was a Call of Duty YouTuber. I think I had more gameplays come out of that map, like because you could spawn trap so fucking hard, and you didn't even have to be that coordinated. You could just there were just certain spots where people had to come out and they were funneling in, and you could just sit there and pop.
Yeah, well, now the way that the characters are spawned now is a little bit more fair. So I think the game...
Well, probably you could get over those walls a lot easier, too. You don't have to go through
with the movement system.
Yeah. So it does feel a lot different, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I don't know how much longer I'm going to stick with it. That's what my wife wants to continue playing after the show. I've also been playing Overwatch on Xbox One. A lot of you guys... some people may know, but Xbox One and I think PlayStation 4 had it free for the entire weekend. The complete game. So I download the complete game, every character, all 13 maps, everything.
And they just got new DLC, right? Is that out? They got a new character like a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know because it's a game it's still on my list of to get games because I'm trying to go through my backlog. But
sure.
I saw it for free when I went, and got my Xbox Live stuff for the month, and it was like free this weekend. I said, "Oh hell yes," because I really enjoyed the beta. I downloaded it. I've been playing that, and I can just say it's an amazing, very very fun game. I'm still playing Metal Gear Solid 5. It's a game that requires a lot. That game is not like, running through a Mario Brothers game. You got to learn whole new languages and all kinds of shit to play this game. Whole new ways to play. You got to build up your encampments and capture enemies, all kinds of stuff. It's a lot to play, but it's an awesome game. And I've also just started, but I've really been enjoying Journey on PlayStation 4, which is PlayStation Network's free game of the month. Beautiful game. I beat this game on PlayStation 3.
Remastered version, right?
It's a remastered version
yeah.
of the game, and it's still just as magical and special as it was when I played it back in 2013. It's an incredible game, and
I'm an idiot because I bought it when it came out, the remastered version. That was only, I feel like 6 months ago or something.
It's worth it though, man. That game is incredible.
That's one of those things, right? It's like when I see a lot of games coming out, especially games that are kind of budget price, $30 and $40. You think at some point in time in the near future it's going to be free on either Xbox Live Games with Gold or PlayStation Network. So if you can wait, I would say wait just to see. Give it 2 or 3 months. If you absolutely have to have it, go ahead and pick it up. I know I'm guilty of buying games that have come out for free too, so it always sucks. But that's been my week in gaming. It's been really, really fun. I had to put together a PlayStation Vita. My 3-year-old destroyed her older sister's Vita screen that I just bought her in July. And so I had to buy a new screen, and it took about an hour and a half to put it on. You know how you're watching the video, you're doing what they do, but you still in the back of your mind think, I done fucked up somewhere.
Yeah. Sure.
I didn't.
Having kids. First mistake.
Yes.
So I used my old job, I used to do laptop repairs quite often, right? And there's, I don't know, 100 or so screws that are about this fucking big when you take apart a laptop. And I used to watch YouTube videos, right? It's like, I don't know how to take apart this laptop. I've never seen it before. So I'd, go on YouTube and find a video of somebody taking it apart and putting it back together. And I always wound up with about 3 or 4 screws that just never found a home again. I'll just put those in my pocket, save them for later.
The customer never knew. That's really, really cool. But I was really happy to get that done. Now I feel like, I've seen people selling Vitas with cracked screens for $20 and $30. Mm-hmm. You can buy a replacement screen for $30, replace it in a half an hour because now I know to open it up, and then all of a sudden, bam, sell it.
How much do you sell a used Vita for?
You can probably get $100 for it.
Really?
Yeah. They're not $99. I think Vitas are still about $149. So you can probably get a good $100 for it.
Yeah. Is there a market out there?
I don't think there's a market for it necessarily.
Hey, I sold my Vita about a month ago for
$180. There is a market for it. You see?
80 Canadian dollars?
Oh, yeah.
No, that was 180 Canadian dollars, Briar, you asshole. Shut up.
I was gonna say, if it's 80 Canadian dollars, man, I don't think you're gonna make much of a profit on that.
It was like 150 US, so I got a pretty good amount for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a market. Robbie found the one guy in Canada who didn't know just how crappy the Vita and the Vita ecosystem actually is. So,
well, maybe that guy knows how to unlock it. Free games.
Oh, that might be true too.
Yeah.
I'm heavily debating going ahead and installing the latest firmware and just forgetting about the Hinkaku stuff because I've got like 6 systems with every old console on them. I'm like, what's the point?
So, guys, I can't see the news, but I want to talk about the Sony PlayStation. Can we just start by talking about that?
Robbie, what's our first bit of news, Robbie?
All right, well, I'm going to tell you guys right up front, like 3/4 of our news this week is PS4 Pro. So I hope you're ready to talk a lot about it.
Yeah. Can we just talk about the announcement and talk about our impressions of the announcement right off the bat before we even get into the news?
Well, it's the first story, basically.
Okay.
Well, go ahead and give us the first story.
I'll
Then
just
we're going
read
to
it off.
elaborate.
Yeah. All right, guys. So this week, Sony has officially announced the PS4 Pro, an upgraded PS4 that will be approximately 2 times as powerful as the standard console. The system is designed as a 4K gaming console with HDR support. It will be released on November 10th, 2016 for $399 US.
All right, I'm going to give you guys my first impressions on this thing right off the bat. I thought they did a shitty job announcing this thing. They focused on 4K and HDR
on
a live stream where nobody who is watching
could see it.
Yeah, nobody could see it, right?
Completely agree.
They're putting out a more powerful console. I think they really should have said, here's what it's going to do for you when it comes out with your current 1080p machine, right? That's what the focus should have been. It's going to have faster frame rates. It's going to have better graphics. It has more power. And by the way, also 4K, also HDR, because nobody has right now a 4K TV with HDR. I mean, they're out there. You can buy them. They're very expensive. Some people have 4K TVs, but 4K with HDR is still like around $2,000 to $3,000 for a TV.
Yeah.
And there's two competing formats for HDR. So you can either get the Dolby Vision or the HDR10. Yep. Some TVs support both, like Samsung TVs support both. Some TVs don't. So which one do I buy? It is not really yet time to buy a 4K TV. I'm going to be completely honest, because until they figure out formats, until they figure out all that stuff, I would hold off. So Sony coming out here and spouting off about, well, this is the best 4K gaming experience you can have on a TV. Look how great HDR looks. Oh wait, you can't because you're looking at a live stream. Look how good 4K looks. Oh wait, you can't because you're looking at a live stream. Talk to us right now about why our games are going to be better if we buy this thing on our 1080p TVs. They totally fucked up the messaging there.
Yeah.
Well, the thing was, they gave this sermon almost on HDR, and I was telling my wife, we were watching it, I said, they're trying to really explain to us what 4K is. We're watching on a 1080p monitor, and it's live streamed, so you're probably getting a 480i image.
Yeah, right.
It's not even streaming at 1080p. You're not getting the resolution of a 1080p image, and they're trying to show you these redundant images that they know you're not really getting the full picture of, literally. I told her, I said, to me, everything that I'm seeing, and I'm sure you guys agree, looked like a standard PlayStation 4 game. And I'm sure Digital Foundry did some, behind the scenes, they spent hours with it and, played it on 4K and HDR. And they said it's really amazing, the difference, but that's not something that they were able to convey at this conference. I think that this should have been done like a Nintendo Direct. I think that Sony wasted a lot of time and got a lot of people excited just to come out there and really, really underperform. I think both of their announcements underperformed. I think the PlayStation Slim was a pretty lackluster announcement. Everybody knew.
I'm never buying a PlayStation Slim. They deleted the optical audio port out of that. And so if you run anything off of that optical audio, like Astro headsets or any kind of audio, that PlayStation Slim is just not going to work for us. So for the rest of my life,
on that Slim.
Right, yeah. So for the rest of my, the PlayStation 4's life, if I want a base PlayStation 4, I got to be looking for originals or the Pro. And the Pro, what the fuck am I running Office on this thing? Am I running Photoshop? What Pro? What kind of dumbass name is that? That's what
hey man,
fucking $3,000 laptop is called, not a gaming machine. Is this for pro gamers?
Yeah, supposedly, right? The messaging was really, really horrible. I think that Andrew House, Mr. Hands, as I said before, really missed the message. It was very, very boring. Mark Cerny, he almost put me to sleep.
So I didn't find it boring, actually. I found Mark Cerny to be pretty interesting, but I'm a nerd.
To me, Mark Cerny, his messaging was fine, but I think tonally it was wrong. It wasn't right to get people excited about what he was talking about. I think that, everything he said made sense, but it wasn't, this is a new, exciting machine. This is why you need it. This is what it's going to do for you. It didn't have that kind of excitement that you would expect when Sony reveals a new console.
Yeah.
It was just, this is the PlayStation Neo, and this is what it does.
I don't know. To me, I didn't have a problem with his presentation. I liked what he was talking about. I liked his, to me, he had a relaxing voice that wasn't over amplified. It was fine to me. It was the messaging of, this is the Pro. Why are you calling it Pro? That doesn't make any sense. We're going to talk about 4K and HDR graphics. We can't see that. Why? Talk to me about the 1080. Talk to me about when I buy this thing in November. Why am I going to be buying it? Because I'm not buying a $2,000 4K TV along with it. Okay, that's not happening. I can't. I am as close to a professional gamer. I guess I don't play professional competitive, but I play games because I make money off of it. That makes me professional. This is the fucking stupidest branding I've ever heard in my goddamn life.
PlayStation Pro.
I don't know why they didn't go with PS4K. It would have made more sense because it explains the 4K in the title, and I think it sounds better too.
I think 4K
it
would have been a mistake too because, I don't have a 4K TV. I don't need that.
Okay, maybe you're right about that. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you guys completely that the messaging was just totally wrong on this. Like, they just tried to focus too much and explain so much that you need a 4K TV. That's what they made it feel like. You're going to need a 4K TV. You need HDR. Absolutely not, though. You will see a major difference even if you're playing on 1080, but they so poorly demonstrated that. They just didn't make it sound like that.
And I don't know if that's true. Robbie, where'd you get that information?
Well, that information was actually a part of the conference, that you will see, enhanced visuals on the 4K and 1080p resolution. Is just not as, groundbreaking as you would in the 4K.
I would like to see that for my own eyes because they didn't demonstrate that for me at all.
They didn't show. I don't think they showed it, but it was something that was definitely mentioned, and it was mentioned on Digital Foundry. Digital Foundry did like a 3-hour face-to-face with the PlayStation 4K, and it was explained in their video as well.
If I was doing that video, man, I would have done. Look, here is what Uncharted looks like on a base PlayStation 4. Here's what it looks like on the new one, right? Like, show me the difference. Don't show me a sky and then make it brighter on a TV that a camera is pointed at. And fucking, look how realistic this plane looks on horrible. This TV, on this stage that this camera is looking at that's getting broadcast through Twitch. Like, what the That was crazy, man. Look, the damn thing doesn't have UHD. It doesn't have an Ultra HD player.
That's part of our news, too. Yeah.
Like, how are you going to bring out a 4K PlayStation? And, I mean, maybe the licensing fee was too much. Who do we got to pay to get licensing on Ultra HD? Fucking Sony.
We're Sony. We own Blu-ray. We're a partner of Blu-ray.
What the fuck?
Look, we own the technology. They couldn't do it, apparently.
This is, I think, going to be a trend for the next year. Xbox just had their second month in a row beating PlayStation in sales of the Xbox One S.
Yeah.
Sony's messaging is so confusing for people out there who are considering buying a PlayStation 4. And not only that, now finally competition has a leg up on their entire message. Not only is the Xbox One S a hardware advantage over the original Xbox One, it plays games faster, they look better on the One S, but it also streams in 4K. It also has a 4K Blu-ray. So this is the $299 box that has theoretically more than the PlayStation Pro when it comes to these high-end TVs. The message that Sony really put out there to the gamer is this: we have a new PlayStation 4 that does nothing different than the one you have now. It's just a little bit smaller for $299.
It's slim.
Does it stream in 4K?
It's got less features than the
Does it stream in 4K? Does it do anything that our competition does? Absolutely not. Here is a PlayStation 4K Pro, or the 4 Pro. This thing is amazing, but you're going to have to make a huge investment to see how amazing this thing is. So it doesn't matter to them if you just bought a really, really nice TV. You're going to have to make another huge investment before you see truly the potential of what this new console is truly capable of. So anybody going out to the stores, as you can see now, it's second month in a row, $299 PlayStation Slim, $299 Xbox One with enhanced features, 4K Blu-ray, 4K streaming. Who in the hell is going to buy a PlayStation 4? I wouldn't.
I'm telling you
nice
that now. Industrial design. That Xbox Slim looks beautiful. The PlayStation Slim looks like garbage. The PlayStation Pro looks like two PlayStations duct taped together. Yeah. It looks like a fucking Big Mac. I don't know what they were thinking with that.
I saw your Twitter image. It does look like a Big Mac.
It absolutely does. Sony really missed the mark here. They shouldn't have had this PlayStation meeting. If you're calling a meeting, the consumer is expecting to see something really, really riveting and just exciting. This whole thing was nothing that we didn't already know about.
I'll be honest with you. I know that a lot of gamers are saying, I don't care about the Ultra HD Blu-ray support. I don't give a shit. That's not why I use my PlayStation. Here's the thing, though. If you want to sell 1 million of these things, or if you want to sell 20 million of these things, you want to be the most attractive thing to put under that living room TV. And absolutely. Right now, Sony does not have a good answer for Microsoft. Yes, Microsoft is asking you to wait a year for the Scorpio, but in the meantime, they're giving you a $300 box that is the cheapest Ultra HD Blu-ray player out there. It plays video games. It does it it's an attractive box. It's a really nice value. What Sony's offering is the old PlayStation with less features, frankly.
Yeah.
It doesn't at the same price. It doesn't have any 4K support. It doesn't have Ultra HD Blu-ray. It doesn't have an attractive design to it, in my opinion. It's got a ton of problems when you compare it to the Slim. For $100 more, you'll get better graphics for your gaming, but in your living room, a lot of people will say, well, I'd like to watch, if I'm getting a 4K TV, I want to watch 4K Blu-rays, 4K.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of people saying that, Sony is moving towards moving away from the physical media of 4K Blu-rays and moving toward the streaming, but streaming in 4K, do you understand how fucking hard that's going to be to get an actual 4K image in a stream?
How much bandwidth that takes too?
It's going to be insane.
Yeah.
Well,
now, YouTube and Netflix are working on these services.
Hopefully
Hopefully they're
out.
up to snuff. Okay, I mean,
I've watched
never streamed
them.
anything
I've
in
watched
4K.
I've watched Netflix 4K. It looks pretty damn good.
Okay, so do you think that that's a reasonable argument if Sony they plan on moving away from 4K digital? I mean, actual physical media, being that they own the technology behind it.
Okay, so I'm torn on this because if you spend a half of your press conference talking about HDR, which is not available in streaming media, then no.
Yeah, absolutely right.
But you're talking to somebody who just doesn't buy physical media anymore. I don't buy Blu-rays. I don't buy any of it anymore. I don't even buy physical copies of games anymore because, frankly, I find it inconvenient. I don't want to go to the store, and I don't want to have the shit just hanging around in my house. I got stacks of Blu-rays that I'm like, what am I going to do with these things? I don't watch them. I got stacks of DVDs that I certainly don't watch them. A couple of years ago, I threw away stacks of VHSs, for fuck's sake. Like, I just, all this stuff, it's great when you first get it. Then you watch it once, you put it you slide it into a bookshelf or in a pile somewhere. It sits there for the next 6 years till the next format comes along. You buy a bunch of that shit and you throw away all the old stuff. And it's like, what the fuck's the point? I'd rather just rent movies at this point and be done with it.
Agreed.
So Sony may be on the right path there when it comes to, I guess, streaming 4K content versus having 4K Blu-rays stacking up. Only time will tell, but right now I think that their messaging is totally mixed. People don't know what to do. If a person's going out and they want to buy a PlayStation, are they going to say, well, let me get the Slim? Oh, well, if I get the Pro, I need to get a 4K TV too. That's a huge investment.
Yeah.
I think the timing may have been wrong for this, man. I don't think there's a lot of these 4K
focusing on
TVs
4K was the wrong idea, right?
I think so too.
If they came out and said, look, we got for $400, you get like the PlayStation 4, whatever they call it, not fucking Pro because it's a dumb name. I'm not getting over that anytime soon.
I hate the name too, Briar. Yeah, I do.
But if you get the Pro, right, and your 1080p games are going to look this much better. They're going to update these games for free. The games you already have, Uncharted, this game, that game, it's going to look better than ever. You're going to want to replay this thing just because it looks better. The new games coming out are going to support this thing. They're going to look marvelous. And hey, listen to this.
When you do
4K is right around the corner, right? Everybody's looking at these 4K sets over at Best Buy. They're looking at these 4K sets. You want one eventually. When you bring it home, this thing supports it. Not only does it support 4K, but it supports HDR. Oh, you don't know what HDR is? Then we do the demo for 4K and HDR. But you gotta sell people on the 1080p. Like, how's this thing gonna look? How's this thing gonna look when I bring it home on day one? What's the point? $400 is actually a tremendous value. You can't buy a PC with this amount of power for $400. I mean, it's a tremendous value.
That's a very positive thing about the Pro.
Yeah.
It's a very good proposition.
They just sold it so fucking poorly in that stupid meeting.
Let me just say this, Briar, okay? I swear to God, I'm not joking. You just got me hyped for the PlayStation Pro more than they did.
You absolutely
no fucking
did,
joke.
I am buying this thing day one. I'll be honest with you.
This is my thing, right? Because everybody in the house has a PlayStation 4. Like, pretty soon my 3-year-old will have one. I'm really on the fence, about just updating day one because I know me. That means I'm going to go ahead and invest in that 4K, and then my 60 inches is going to come in my room. I don't even think my wall is 60 inches in here. But
what you do, is you hang the TV above the bed on the ceiling, so you're just leaning back in bed, watching a little TV.
Right, that's where the mirror is at.
Well, what you do is you put a little webcam on the TV.
Oh no! I see where this is going.
So you can just display whatever the webcam sees on the TV, and if you feel the need to
Briar.
broadcast something, I
Just
mean,
let
you
you
got
know.
the technology ready to go. You know, that mirror is old school, man.
Take it back. Yeah, man. I kind of figured that you'd be buying this thing day one, and see me. They kind of got me excited a little bit when they actually mentioned The Last of Us will support this upgrade to the 4K and high fidelity.
Oh,
image.
I didn't know that. Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
they
right.
mentioned it. They mentioned it right then during the. I guess you did fall asleep, bro.
I was just
Some of the things
shocked
they
by
said-
Pro. I was like, what? They calling it the Pro?
That's what he thought the whole conference. He's like, I can't get over this name.
Yeah. What am I? Am I running Pro Tools on this? Am I like, what the fuck am I doing? Photoshop? What am I
Is this
doing
a
on this
Windows
thing?
app? What is this shit?
But when they said that, I was like, wow, that's something I definitely want to see.
Yeah.
One of the issues, though, guys, with 4K gaming is this: there's going to be tons of latency, at least from what I understand, as far as the display image. 4K running like a online game, aren't you going to get a huge latency?
4K
You might be
TVs,
right.
especially the OLED TVs, do have more latency than what we're used to with 1080s. The best 1080s, the best for gaming 1080s is what I should say, because the best 1080 displays for watching movies and the best 1080 displays for playing games are two very different things. And that, I think, is going to be true with 4K as well. 4K TVs right now are aimed squarely at guys who want to watch 4K movies. So we'll have to watch that. I always forget the name of the website, but there's a website out there that just does display lag times, and so I would definitely watch
that's
that.
nice.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I'm going to be hitting you up for that information because that's something I'm
always
definitely
forget. I
interested
wonder if chat will know the name of that, because it's like displaylag.org or something like that.
Wow.
But all they do is
sure.
they just they bring in TVs, they test them for display lag, and they just rate the TVs by that. And then you go over to CNET or you go to soundandvision.net or .com. You take a look at like what's the best TVs for picture wise, and compare that to the list of display lag, and you get a winner.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, something that Sony's actually rolling out, I'm guessing next week, they've announced that a firmware update coming next week will bring HDR support to every PS4, including the original launch model, the redesigned Slim, and the PS4 Pro. So next week, we're going to get HDR support, but nobody has HDR.
Yeah, that means
so
basically
HDR isn't
nothing.
a selling point for Pro either, because it's going to be on every console. So there goes your selling point for Pro right there. Part of it, at least.
Well, that removes a little of the extra shine and sheen on the Xbox One S if everybody on PlayStation 4 is at least able to get HDR.
That as well.
You know.
Yeah.
But that Xbox One S, man, Microsoft is killing them right now. I think they're going to continue to kill them until next year. I mean, I made kind of a crazy prediction. In my mind, the only thing Sony can do to kind of turn this whole thing around, because honestly, they've created a shitstorm.
They have.
They jumped out there, with this PS4K news a while back. It was leaked information, and they got too far into development, manufacturing to stop, and so they had to release what they already had made. But the only thing they can do at this point is to announce their next generation PlayStation next year before the Scorpio drops. That's all they can do, because they said yesterday.
I think they're going to kill it this year. I kind of disagree with this whole argument.
Okay, well, tell me why you think they're going to kill it. Is the message
Because they're going to have
somehow?
they're going to have the best console on the market for gamers, like bar none, by like a long shot. Like you look at
Yeah.
anything that's running on any multi-platform game, it's assuming that the developers took use of some of this new power. It's going to look a mile better on the
PS4 than
Pro.
the next.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't think that the knowledge, or at least the foresight, that the Xbox Scorpio is going to be significantly more powerful in a year is going to deter some of these early
It'll
adopters
deter
of
some
PlayStation
people,
Pro?
but I mean, if you could show me right now that my game is going to look better, I'm gonna.
That's where you're going.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. I think Sony's got a real marketing problem here. I don't disagree with that part of it. I think they did a horrible job messaging what this new console is going to give you, but I think word of mouth will get out. Like when everybody goes and says, "Should I buy this for Xbox or PlayStation?" and they're comparing Xbox One Slim to the
PS4 Pro.
in Digital Foundry, it's going to look completely different. It's going to look much
Yeah.
better, assuming they took advantage of the power. Assuming the developer took advantage of the power, which we saw Call of Duty is going to. Call of Duty
That
sells
looked amazing.
consoles. Yeah,
Did you see how that looked?
it looked great.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
My
yeah.
God.
Now, when the Xbox Scorpio comes out, that's another thing. I think PlayStation's in a bad way when that Scorpio comes out.
But they got the lead
for the
for a
next
year. They got that head start, which is important.
Yeah, but man,
Sometimes
it's
it
a
doesn't matter.
Scorpio.
Won't last.
I mean, I don't know what that Scorpio is going to do. Is it going to be $700 like people are saying? I don't know, but
I don't think so.
I don't think it can be. But
Look what Sony did. I mean, honestly, the whole taking the 4K Blu-ray out could have been, to minimize costs. They gave home gamers an amazingly powerful home box for $400. This thing costs as much as the PS4 did when it first, was revealed. And for $400, the same price, you get something that's twice as powerful. That says a lot. Xbox, if they decide to, maybe remove the Ultra HD 4K Blu-ray player, they might be able to, squeeze a $500 price tag out of there. They might. This thing has 4.2 teraflops. You get 1.8 more flops in that Xbox.
I'll take all the flops I can get, man.
That's a lot of flops.
I'm a huge fan of the flops.
Bring them at me. Yeah, give me all the flops.
I wear flip flops every day, all summer long. You're gonna give me 600 fucking teraflops?
Flops.
More flops. Yeah, good.
This is my prediction. Okay, I know a while back we actually talked about what Sony is going to do here, and everybody said Sony's only making one console. It's going to be the 4K, and I said no, they have to make two. They got to make something to go against the Xbox Slim, and they have to make something that's going to go against the 4K.
I wish they had made the Slim.
I was right, but I agree with you. But there are a demographic of people out there who've been on the fence about getting a PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
If they want a PlayStation 4 as PlayStation is now, with no extra bells and whistles, with the, as you so eloquently put it, the deletion of the optical port, then they can go grab one for $300 and they can play with their friends. Bam. But my prediction is this, that next year, around the time of the Scorpio, Sony's going to announce that PlayStation 5. They're going to do the same. They're going to do the same thing that Microsoft just did. Microsoft went a year in advance, and they gave theoretical numbers out there to get people excited. Sony's known for that. People are super amped now still for Final Fantasy VII and, The Last Guardian. These games that still haven't seen the light of day. People still talk about them because they were talked about and shown previously to get people amped and excited. If Sony does the same thing next year and says, this is our next system, Sony will continue to have the most powerful home console. This is, in theory, what the PlayStation 5 is.
There's no way they can do that.
You don't think so?
No.
Why would you say
that? Not
that?
a year after they released the Pro.
How long has PlayStation 4 been out? By the time the Pro has been out for 3 years, so that'll be 4 years of the PlayStation 4's lifespan. Do you think that the Pro is going to just prolong the PlayStation 4 for another 2 or 3 years?
I don't think so. If they come out next year and say we're going to announce the PlayStation 5, it's coming out in 2018,
they'll piss people off.
Fucking they will, man. That's too fast.
Soon.
It's too fast.
Let me tell you why you're wrong. This is why I think you're wrong. The PlayStation 4K and the Xbox Scorpio are basically next generation systems that only do backwards compatibility. That's it. They're playing backwards compatible games and up-resing them, making them look better and play better. That's virtually all it is. So if they announce a PlayStation 5 that still does backwards compatibility, but they lift that curtain where developers can't develop exclusively for the new console, it'll be just like the PlayStation 4K or the Xbox Scorpio with the added bonus that they're actually making games for that hardware instead of making it for the PlayStation 4.
I think you're thinking of the way these things used to work. It's not going to work that way anymore, Beasley. It's what they're going to do is in 2018 they're going to be making games that say for PlayStation 4 Pro only.
That's the problem though. They said that that's something they would not do.
That's what they're going to do. They're going to have to. So? You think they're going to be able to support the original PlayStation hardware forever? No, they're going to come out with the Pro, and then they're going to come out with the 4 Pro 2 or the.
That is a horrible name.
You're worse than Pro, man.
Dude, Pro is the stupidest thing. Anyway, they're going to come out with the next thing. It's going to be like the iPhone, where they just keep. Like, if we put them on an every 3-year cycle, they can just every 3 years they could just be making an upgraded version of the PlayStation 4. Drop the PlayStation 4 name altogether. Just call it the PlayStation, and then
that's a good idea.
Let consumers know which version they have by naming it something. Maybe just put the year PlayStation 2016, PlayStation 2018, right?
The thing,
and then you'll see the software. The software will get developed and The developers will make a decision. Okay, we're going to support all PlayStations before 20 or up to 2016. So 2016, 2018, 2020, right? All those PlayStations are going to be supported by our software. Anything older than that, no.
Fucked. But this is the promise that Microsoft and Sony are making.
They're making that now. It's basically, don't believe it. They're going to go back. Don't believe the hype. Future. Okay, well, that's the whole. I mean, like it's an iPhone. Your iPhone, my iPhone 3G is still an iPhone, but it's not going to run the newest programs that come out for iOS, right?
Yeah.
It did for a few years, but then eventually you upgrade to the new iPhone because you need the extra speed, or you want the better camera.
The difference is the type of media and the type of OS. See, the new iPhone OS is very different from iPhone 3. Mm-hmm. But PlayStation 4 is on a fundamental system that changes just so slightly as they iterate from console to console. It's always going to be the ability to put that game in and play it. So I'm thinking
that's what they want to do, Beasley, is they want to put it, they want you to buy a game like Uncharted 4, and it's going to look great on your PlayStation, or it's going to look even better if you play it on your PlayStation Pro. And then in 2019, they come out with Uncharted 5, and they're like, look, this thing looks really good on a PlayStation Pro. It looks even better on the PlayStation Pro. And
you're killing me, man.
Fucking name.
You're killing me, man.
But unfortunately, it just we had to drop support for the original PlayStation 4 because.
And by then, do you think that consumers will be ready for that?
Or
change?
You know what, Beasley, is they just continue to support that PlayStation 4, and it just has shitty graphics, right? It just has shitty graphics.
I think they drop them. I think with Scorpio too, eventually they're going to drop the original Xbox One. I know they will. It'll be a couple years, but they can't just.
Yeah, they won't immediately. But it'll be. We'll be talking about Scorpio 2, right? And then with the release of Scorpio 2, the fine print at the bottom of the webpage that nobody's fucking talking about is that most games aren't going to support Xbox One anymore.
Very fine print.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very
indie games will, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I got a question for you guys, okay? If you are new to the PlayStation ecosystem, you're ready to buy some consoles and get into the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Sony's releasing 2 consoles, 1 peripheral in 3-month time. On the 15th of this month, of course, the PlayStation Slim for $300. Next month, on the 13th, for $400, is PlayStation VR, which is a thing that right now I'm the most excited about. More excited about VR than PlayStation Pro. And then the following month, on November 10th, you got the $400 box, the PlayStation Pro. Is that too much in a short period of time? We're talking 3 months with a maximum of $1,100 investment. Do you think that Sony is oversaturating the market right now, and could it backfire on them?
I think so. That's a lot of hardware to release 1 month apart of each other. You have one console and then hardware and then another console launching. I think that is a lot for.
And the hardware costs as much as their new super-powered Pro. What do you think, Briar?
I mean, I'm really getting a bad impression about VR right now. I feel like it's not getting adopted by consumers at all. And I feel like Sony is they're not talking about it, they're not talking about it. And it's almost here. So I'm already starting to get the impression that Sony's kind of
dropping the ball.
I mean, it looked good right until the Oculus and the, all that shit came out. But all of a sudden, we're just not seeing numbers. Let's talk about this Pro. That's where gamers want to be, is on the Pro.
Yeah.
VR, I don't know, man. I'm buying it. I'm buying the VR. I got it pre-ordered.
But
I don't have high hopes for it. I think the hardware is going to be great, but I don't think there's going to be development for it.
Well, this is why I think you might be wrong, right? They've had 2, I guess, packages of shipments available from the beginning of the announcement up until now, where people could go out and pre-order. Both of those sold out, instantly sold out.
Mm-hmm.
So the numbers are there. The only thing is, it's all the allotted numbers are there. It's not like they had a limitless supply for people to buy it. Then we could actually say it's going to sell.
How many pre-orders were there available, BC?
I don't know exactly how many.
So how do we know how many they sold? I'm going to put up 20,000 pre-orders available. Look at that, we sold out. Fucking most successful product in the world.
I'm gonna fucking find out. I'm going to find out, but I'm thinking it would have to be more than that. You know, with 40
even if it's 100,000, is that it? All right, if you pre-order if you sold 100,000 pre-orders of PlayStation VR, and you're EA, right, and you're thinking, should we make a game for VR? Well, 100,000 people pre-ordered it. You know, so that makes it seem like it's pretty popular. Of course, those pre-orders went up when there was a lot more hype around VR. Nobody's actually paid a fucking dime for this shit yet. Like, what are you really thinking? Are we going to make the next Call of Duty VR? How much development is it going to cost us? You know, like what are we going to do here? I don't know,
man.
VR is still very sketchy to me.
Yeah. For me, and see, the thing is, I'm hearing different things, right? Up in the internet and the ether. A lot of people seem excited, and then I talk to you, and the excitement has died. For me, the excitement is still there.
I am excited. I'm tempering my excitement.
Okay,
I'm not hearing Sony get excited about it, and that makes me wonder.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree.
They really didn't talk about it at all at their meeting. I'm guessing that at TGS. We'll probably hear a little bit more about VR. Hopefully they can get us excited and get people more on track, or at least on the right path, you know, going into this PlayStation Pro future. Because at the end of that meeting, man, I was confused. I was like, what are they doing here? This is not, you know, the messaging was just so mixed. You know, you got to do this, you got to do this in order to really experience it the way it's supposed to be experienced. They didn't really elaborate fully on, you know, any of the perks that we would have, the people who own these 1080p monitors. They could have sold us. You're right, Brian. They could have easily just sold us on that. If they said, this is how it looks on a 1080p TV on the original PlayStation 4, this is how it looks on the Pro, and then they show them side by side, and you're like, oh, wow, that I can get. Because that's the thing that we can all relate to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
they focus so much on a format no one owns yet. Like you can't do that.
It's kind of like trying to sell VR, right? It's like
VR, you can't really
trust me. It looks amazing.
We're like, no one owns it.
But I can't prove it to you because you need hardware to see it.
Yeah.
And it does look amazing.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know how they, you know, it was just a poor decision on what to focus on with that new hardware. I'm still excited about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna buy a Pro day one. I went out and I pre-ordered it that day to make sure that I got my pre-order in early. I'll be bringing it home, trying it out. I'm gonna throw in Uncharted 4. I'm gonna throw in some of the games that support the new form or the new system. Really looking forward. I'm actually really looking forward to Call of Duty this year, not just because of the remaster.
I am,
of COD 4,
excited for Call of Duty.
But I think that campaign looks like fun, man. I'm legit interested in playing that campaign, and
agreed.
You know, so like, and if I get better visuals because I've got a Pro, great. Is that going to make my YouTube videos look better? You know, like it's nothing but win for me to go out and buy a Pro. But also I can write it off on my taxes, so there's really nothing lost.
Yeah. Guys, just to put in, I'm going to explain to why I am still excited for PS4 Pro. Because I know a lot of people are down on it right now. Like we've beaten over and over again, the messaging has been really poor. But I'm going to explain right now why I think you still should be excited. First of all, for a console that does 4K gaming and will have upscaled visuals, possible upscaled frame rate, it is only $400. I think that is a great value, especially 100%. When compared to the PS4 Slim. I'll tell you, Slim is a waste of time. Don't buy that because that is $100 cheaper than Pro, and Pro will offer you way more.
In fact, second of all, you're probably better off going and finding an old PlayStation 4 that still has that optical port, so you can use your fucking headphones.
Yeah. The other thing is, like I said, the promise of better frame rates in games. That's what really gets me excited, on top of better visuals, because this is a console that's twice as powerful. Even if you don't have a 4K TV, I think you will see a substantial difference just in the visual fidelity of the games and just how it looks. I think you will see a difference, and I think it's just a good value. I really do. And if it has that on top of better frame rates in games, like I know multiplayer won't be better frame rates, but if they can still improve that, I'm definitely sold on it, because I'm still very excited.
I was amped about the price. The price is unbeatable.
The price is very good. Yeah. That's what's exciting me.
Now, let me clarify exactly how I feel about this, because I know that, you know, I made some videos. A lot of people really think in a lot of ways, I am frustrated and a little disappointed at their meeting. But for $400, you really can't beat what you're going to get here. Yeah. The only thing that makes that $400 look not quite as good as it could is the fact that a $300 console offers Ultra HD Blu-ray support, and it actually has baked in.
Microsoft killed it with that Slim, man. They killed it.
They did. And if you're looking at, the next thing, of course, the PlayStation Pro is going to have the best gaming experience for the next year at least. But for the people who go out and make that investment of getting a 4K, a 4K television, you're going to spend a couple $1,000s on something really, really nice, and you come home and you stream Netflix. But if you walk through a Best Buy and you see a new 4K Blu-ray of, Captain America or something amazing that you've seen in theaters, you're like, man, I really wish I could take this home and watch it on my PS4, but I can't. And that's when it's going to sting the most.
Yeah.
Because I still buy Blu-rays. I still do.
Microsoft is saying, you get that TV, you get our console, you're covered.
Good to go.
PlayStation saying,
streaming.
You get that TV, you get our console, and you got to get a Blu-ray player, or you got to get Ultra HD Blu-ray player. And I think that sucks. That's a poor message to be selling. However, I will say this: I am definitely looking forward to the PS Pro. I'm hoping that a lot of the games that I like to play are going to be optimized for it. I think the future is strong. I'm looking forward to Destiny 2 next year. I'm hoping that's going to take advantage of not only the PS Pro, but also the Scorpio, because I'm going to be all over that Scorpio too when that comes out. My review is more about like the branding and how they just presented it. I think they just did a miserable job.
Absolutely, that's how I feel as well.
And I do think Sony's in trouble. I think they're in trouble when that Scorpio comes out. I think they're going to sell, a fair amount of these things over the next year. I think they'll sell a lot of Slims though too.
Unfortunately,
I don't think
don't buy it.
Yeah, well, I don't think they got the PlayStation 4 and then they got the Pro. It's like, what is Pro? Like, it doesn't describe this thing at all. It's just a poor name. Like, it's just awful. So, like, a lot of people aren't going to know the difference. Well, this one's $100 less, and it doesn't look like a fucking hamburger.
Yeah, I think absolutely next year, like, this thing is still going to sell well. I think even with the marketing, even if it confuses people, I think it'll do well. But up until Scorpio, that's what I would say. This
is the thing that we're missing, right? Some people out there don't want the super high end. Some people are totally fine. Like, there's a guy out there right now who has the money, but doesn't care about 4K. There's families out there who want 1080p and they think it's totally fine.
Yeah.
And for those people, going and buying a Slim is perfectly valid because even though it doesn't have an optical port, it's a cheaper PlayStation 4. They're going to get the same experience out of their PS4 that we're getting out of ours right now. And it's much quieter, so it won't sound like an aircraft carrier anymore. But on the other side of that argument, there are those, gamers hardcore like us who do want the best experiences. And they're going to have to make a hell of an investment to really experience it the way it's meant to be played. So they're going to sell tons of Slims. That's just the bottom line. It's still a PS4. It's the same thing that we have right now. There's really no difference other than the fact that it's smaller. Yeah.
Oh, the Slim.
The Slim. Yeah, not the Pro. The Slim is basically what we have now without an optical port for $299. There's really nothing bad to be said about that. Other than the optical port. The Pro is really
in a vacuum. I would agree with you, Beasley, but we're not in a vacuum. The Xbox One Slim was just released. It has a bunch of extra features.
Yeah.
For the same price as they're selling the Slim for. If they're selling the Slim for $200, it'd be like, nailed it. Killed it, buddy. Yeah. Nice job.
$249. If they did $249, they would have been fine.
But $50, I'll take the 4K support.
Yeah. A lot of people would. But there's lots of parents who will be going out there for Christmas and birthdays. And when they see that $50 cheaper, it's to them, they don't give a damn what's in the box. Trust me, as someone who grew up in a house like that, I know. But as a consumer, if I didn't have either one of these boxes, and I'm talking the base boxes, the Xbox One S or the PlayStation Slim, there's no competition there. For me, I don't even have a 4K TV. But I feel like Xbox's box is a lot more valuable than Sony's box for the same price.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just how I feel.
Like your next TV is going to be 4K too. Like,
yeah, I mean,
it's just
of course, everybody's going to be upgrading, and it's a way of future proofing.
It won't be this year. It may not be this year. It may not be next year. But your next TV
coming
in your living room is going to be 4K. It's going to be like 3D. You're not going to be able to buy a TV that doesn't have it, even though you don't give a shit about it.
Yeah.
Another positive thing about Pro though is that at least they're future proofing, right? Like they're future proofing when you upgrade to 4K. Yeah.
And that's something that Sony didn't think about, right? The base PlayStation 4 is not future proof for 4K TVs, but the base Xbox One now is.
Yeah.
In some way. It's not going to be 4K gaming on the Xbox One. But the 4K streaming and 4K Blu-ray, it makes it valuable. You want to keep it around, so when that day does come, when you go out and you buy this amazing TV, you got something. Hey, look, I can stream Netflix. Let me show you how amazing this thing is in 4K.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
Then if Microsoft comes out next year, imagine they can get that Scorpio out for $400.
Fuck, it's over. It's over, man.
That's going to be ridiculous.
It's over.
With those specs,
There's no way.
Holy shit! If they hit that price, that's over.
I mean,
they've killed it.
Prediction is.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My prediction is, please don't forget what you want to say. My prediction is this: it's going to be a $500 console. They can't do any less than that, in my opinion. Not with the power and the built-in Ultra HD Blu-ray. If they maintain that and keep that, that leg up on what Sony's doing, and they have that 6 teraflops of power, multi-plats are going to perform much better on it. Exclusives are going to be damn amazing on it, and it's future-proof. They future-proofed the hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You can stream Netflix, YouTube. You can stream. You can put a Blu-ray inside there and play it. It's for the future. It's a future-proof box. I think it's a great idea, and I don't think they can do anything less than $500 for everything you're going to get there. I think that's why Sony took that. I think they took the Blu-ray out to try to keep it competitive in that $400 price point.
You think
Absolutely,
maybe
that's
they
why
had
they
it
did
in there and
I think that's
took it
what
out
they
to
did.
reduce the price?
I think that's what they did. Sony's coming from that 7th generation blunder of a $600 PlayStation.
I think $700. It was $699.
No, it was $599.
It was 6. It was $599.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah,
I think it's expensive either way.
Are you sure? I think that the most expensive SKU was $699.
Oh, well,
$599 US dollars. That was the infamous line. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure that's what it
$599.
was.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing
I could have
is,
sworn
right?
it was $7, but whatever.
We can find out, but I remember. I personally remember 6, right? And Sony personally remembers 6 and how horrible it was for them. And then when they think about the Xbox One launching at 5 and how that really proved detrimental to their success in the early days of Xbox One. So they're probably like, if we launch at 5, it's going to be another Xbox One situation.
Mm-hmm.
Take that damn HD Blu-ray out, and let's try to get this thing down to 400. So it'll be just like the PlayStation to get it out the door.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's what they probably did, because there's no reason for this thing not to have Ultra HD Blu-ray. There's no reason. They fucking own it. Yeah. Hey, we're going to give it to our competition, but we won't use it ourselves.
No, but that
That's
makes sense if they were just trying to hit that $400 price point.
Yeah.
Like with all the other stuff they put in there, the Ultra HD might have been that differentiator that just brought it up over that $400 price
over
point.
that line.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Price for the PS4 Pro also puts that symbol down of this is another PS4. This is not a new generation. Yeah. This is a continuation of this generation. Whereas Scorpio is no more console generations. This is our next system, but you'll still be able to play all the same games on the original Xbox One. So they're doing 2 different things here with these systems, really. One's continuing a generation, another's blurring the lines between generations and saying there is no generation.
You saw
the other thing,
the
I will say this too, is PlayStation's doing this right now with 4K on their Pro. And Scorpio's going to be doing it next year. But when they say 4K gaming on these things, that's a fucking fallacy. That's a fucking bold-faced lie.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Pro, it's upscaled.
They're not. It's
checkerboard
completely,
upscaling.
Yeah, it is completely upscaled. There's no way that 4 point whatever teraflops
4.2
is nearly power enough to display native resolution of 4K. Mm-hmm. It's just not. They cannot game in 4K. We're currently watching, the 1080s come out, the Titan 1080s come out, and they have trouble with it. They can't do it at 60 frames per second for most games. So
well, you got to
something with half the power is going to be able to do it. That's a fucking lie.
You're crazy. If you don't understand hardware, I would basically say if you really think a $400 console is capable of 4K 60,
they're going to up-res.
You just don't know.
They're going to up-res. It's going to be like playing Call of Duty on the Xbox 360, where you thought you were playing 1080, but you weren't. You were playing 700p, up-res to 1080.
Well, the reason that it works so well. I watched the Digital Foundry, video on the way they did it. This checkerboard rendering, the way it works, is normally when you upscale it, it upscales 4 pixels at a time. Mm-hmm. The checkerboard is only doing 2.
It's basically the same thing that the NES used to do. So I used to see things flicker. It's because they were rendering this thing, then they would render this thing.
Back and forth.
This thing. So you'd see your images flickering on the screen. You thought it was a bug or something, but it wasn't. It was a tricky way of developers to get 2 things that wouldn't be able to render at the same time to render at the same time.
And I got to give them credit. Credit where credit's due for the technique.
Yeah, totally.
Because apparently the people who've seen this thing in 4K and they've seen like Horizon Zero Dawn running in 4K, they said it looks 4K. It's for all intents and purposes what we call 4K, as close to 4K image as possible.
Yeah.
So the techniques behind making this thing work are outstanding, and for $400, man, you really can't.
Nice price.
There's that value again. Yeah.
Again, they should really be talking about. Here's what it gives you now with 1080p.
Yeah.
All right, so we got what's the next news, Robbie? I know that we got some stuff that we kind of blurred over. Maybe you can hit us on, I guess, the next topic that we didn't really delve deep into because we talked a lot about PlayStation.
It's a big thing. We're going to be talking about a lot about these things in the future.
Oh, because, I think
as we get closer to the launch of the Pro, we'll be talking about it. And then as we start learning more about the Scorpio, we're going to be talking about it again and how it relates back to the Pro. It's going to be a big thing.
Yeah, I was definitely shocked, too, that Pro was coming out so soon. Like, they just announced it 2 months. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but we've known about it for forever.
True. But that's just leaks and stuff.
It was a month ago, guys. I got to just pat myself on the back a little bit. A month ago, we actually talked about it, and you guys said, no, the Pro is not coming out this year. That's going to be next year. I said, no, it can still come out this year, and it is.
Damn, there you go, buddy. You got it right.
I might be wrong about a lot of shit, but I was right about that. It makes me feel good.
Yeah. All right. This will be probably our last story on PS4 Pro, but this is really important. This is to do with the frame rate on PS4 Pro versus the original, so I just want to cover this.
This is a bummer.
This is an important one to read about, so let's get into it. Sony has released a FAQ this week surrounding the PS4 Pro. One important detail mentions that PS4 Pro players won't see a significant advantage in multiplayer games, as the frame rate will generally be the same for players on every PS4 model. Single-player games, however, will have the option to have an improved frame rate and or an increase in resolution depending on how developers utilize the power. Several titles are already confirmed to be running at the same frame rate on both PS4 Pro and PS4, such as Mass Effect Andromeda and Infamous Second Son.
Well,
makes sense.
That does.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't give someone the advantage in gameplay just because they're running it on the Pro.
Yeah.
The advantage will be the resolution. That's what the advantage will come from.
The resolution, but frame
fidelity, rate. But yeah, I mean, frame rate is... It's the thing that I'm clamoring for right now. Is like games to me look good enough, right? They kind of do.
I agree with you. Yeah.
What I really want is consistent 60 frames per second in like every game at this point.
I completely agree, Briar. That's what I want the most of for Pro 2. That will sell me on Pro. If we get increased visuals and then we get a good frame rate bump, at least in single player, that's what will sell me on this.
Yeah, well, as long as they decide to at least increase it on those single-player experiences, to me, that'll make a big difference. But I know, Briar, you'd love to have Destiny in 60 frames. Imagine if they just made a pro version of Destiny 60 frames.
Man, I would love that, but it's not
Let's
happening.
Destiny 2.
Yeah,
Destiny
of course not.
I mean, that's one of the things that kind of bums me out is that Rise of Iron is coming out, in 9 days. And it's just not going to take advantage of this new hardware, and that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Well, the good part is that more than likely, with the 7th generation consoles kind of dissipating into the background, Destiny 2 should theoretically be at a higher frame rate than 30, I would think.
We'll hope, because basically, let's explain this for everyone. So, an example, Destiny 2, if it comes out next year, if it's 30 frames per second on the original PS4, that means it will be 30 FPS on Pro as well, at least for multiplayer. So it will be the same to not get that advantage.
The theory, though, is that the reason it's 30 is because of Xbox 360 and PS3. So, I mean, I'm really hoping that it's going to be 60. 60 is a huge, huge deal. It just makes everything smoother. It makes the gameplay feel better. It's easier to keep track of things that are going on the screen instead of, when something flashes across your screen, instead of seeing, okay, there's a foot in the middle of the screen and now it's fucking gone. You see the foot, now it's gone. So you actually get to track it, if you're ever in that point in a Call of Duty game or a Destiny multiplayer game where, there's somebody right fucking here, but you don't exactly know which direction he was going because, whatever. I mean, it's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. I've been playing Call of Duty for years now in 60 frames per second. To me, there's no excuse not to be 60 frames per second.
I 100% agree. I mean, I'm playing Call of Duty now, and I'm really enjoying the frame rate. But I wanted to quickly address something that WV Golf said in the comment section. He said frames are not an advantage, especially not more of an advantage than a scuff or mouse.
I completely disagree with that. That's not
100%
true at all.
100% disagree.
You have a higher
Now,
frame rate? Yeah, that's
a mouse will give you an advantage, and I don't think a scuff and a mouse are even in the same category. A mouse ultimately gives you the best control you can have in any first-person shooter, but frame rate is a huge advantage. If you're playing a game,
core gameplay mechanic that's changing, that is going to give you an advantage. Whereas a controller, that's not changing the actual game.
If you're playing a game, say for instance, you're playing against a good Call of Duty player, but your game is running at 30 frames per second and his is at 60, he will kill the hell out of you. You know why? Because he has
see you first.
He has
it doesn't even
movement.
work. It's not even worth considering. The most games, they work off of this like time thing that's linked to the frame rate. So like if my game is running at 60 frames per second, your game is running at 30 frames per second, like how does it calculate damage over time? Like how is any of that stuff calculated? It doesn't work. How does hit scan calculate? It doesn't work. It's like it's not even worth thinking about. 30 frames per second running on one person's console and 60 on another. It doesn't work that way.
Let me ask you a question, bro.
It does on PC. They figured it out for PC, so fuck that theory anyway.
How do you feel about the comment overall, though, Briar? That frame rate is not an advantage.
It's an advantage, definitely. It allows you to track your target more accurately. It's a
absolutely is.
Also, you think there's a visual fidelity that comes with faster frames per second too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as someone who owns a SCUF controller and has owned numerous SCUFs, do you think that a SCUF controller and a mouse are the same type of advantage? Or do you think that the mouse...
I would say a SCUF is probably more of an advantage. I mean, how am I going to say... I don't even know how to say that, right? It's like, how am I going to... I've never played a... I don't know, man. But having more frames per second is definitely an advantage. Because, I mean, you just have more information coming to your eyeballs. A SCUF is a big advantage too, though. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's an advantage. A mouse and keyboard on a console is an advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah. Before we leave, I wanted to ask you guys in the comments. You guys can let us know now, and we'll definitely look at it and address it. Are you interested in the PlayStation Pro? After seeing the PlayStation meeting on September 7th, did that get you hyped and excited for it? Is it something you're looking to maybe pass on? And if that's the case, does the Xbox Scorpio have anything to do with that? I want to know if people are into this whole power thing. 6 teraflops, more flops, the better. Like Briar said earlier. Some people are
give me those flops, baby.
Some people are really, PlayStation heavy gamers who just love PlayStation and are willing to just buy anything PlayStation drops. But some people see the power of the Xbox Scorpio as maybe the paradigm shift. And I want to know what you guys think. Did PlayStation sell you guys on the Slim or the Pro? Or are you guys holding off for maybe an Xbox One S or the Xbox Scorpio next year? I want to feel, kind of the community and see how you guys feel about this entire movement.
How many people came over from Xbox, right? When the PS4, when they completely fucked up that Xbox One announcement, they came over to the PS4. They left their old Xbox Live friends list behind. And they're looking at a Scorpio release a year away thinking, this new Pro looks pretty good, but it'd be nice to talk to those old Xbox friends that we used to have good times, and we used to play a lot of Call of Duty back in the day, or a lot of this game. Could be a big deal. I'm wondering that too. Like, how many people are seeing, like, this Pro looks nice, but that Scorpio's only a year away. Should I save my money? Wait for that. Interesting time.
The one thing that'll help you decide is whether or not you are really in it for exclusives or not. If you're a big exclusive gamer, you like,
I don't think either platform really is selling me on exclusives, to be honest with you.
There's only one that has me on exclusives, and I'm sure you guys know which one has the exclusives. But when it comes to multiplayer,
but there's like two games a year that come out that are exclusive.
But they're better than like 10 of the other games. Hold on, bro.
I always just play multiplayer games. I don't know. Like, I always play multi-plat games.
Yeah, well,
I played one. I played one console exclusive this year. It was Uncharted 4.
Wow.
I played one.
Well, the thing with me, right, is I buy all my Xbox exclusives for all the exclusives on Xbox One. I don't buy any multi-plats on Xbox One because up until now, usually the PlayStation 4 had a better hardware and better infrastructure, and the games perform slightly better. But with the Scorpio, that's going to change. And if that happens, I'm buying exclusives exclusively on PlayStation.
Yeah.
And I'm getting my multi-plats on the Scorpio. So my entire gaming situation is about to flip.
Right. Yeah, totally. Like if I'm going to, especially if I'm, making YouTube videos or I'm doing Twitch content, like, yeah, I want to make my shit look as best as it can. And the Scorpio is going to let me do that.
How you feel about it, Robbie?
Just a minute.
All right, Robbie's talking to chat, so let's move on. Why don't we end it? We all set?
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
All right. That was a good show. I had a lot I wanted to say about that PlayStation 4 Pro.
And we sure said a lot.
Yeah. Ooh. I can't wait. Yeah. I'm going to save up a little bit of money. I'm going to get the whole Adobe Creative Suite loaded up. Microsoft Office, the Pro edition of Office as well.
I knew it was coming.
I feel like the Pro edition of Office is a much better value than the Home edition.
Let me ask you a question, Brian, because you killed Sony on the name today. You killed him on that Pro. What if you had 30 seconds to come up with the best name for the PlayStation 4K?
Yeah.
What would you have come up with?
I think Neo was fine.
You think that their code name would have been better than Pro? I honestly do too.
I think it's fine. I don't think 4K is a good way to go in because it'll make people think that this is only if you got a 4K TV.
And it's not.
I thought the Neo was fine. Yeah. I mean, they could have even gone like, I don't know, like Pro it has the wrong connotation. It's business. It's, it's professional. It doesn't, how does that relate to a gaming console? It just doesn't.
They could even call it a 4.1 or something.
Everybody has this issue though, right? Is like, Apple has this issue when they release a new iPad. They're like, what are we going to call this thing? The new iPad? Like, everyone's the new iPad. It's a tough decision. I think they want to get away from the 4, 5, 6 name nomenclature. Xbox wants to do that as well. Do you think that Xbox will be Xbox 2, like TW0?
No.
TWO?
They're not that smart.
What the fuck is that?
TWZ. That'd be awesome.
It actually would be. It would be pretty smart on Microsoft's part to do that, because if they start this with Xbox One, then go to Xbox 2, Xbox 3, then in this far flung future when the Xbox 4 is getting announced, and the new games are getting announced for the Xbox 4. They're still compatible with Xbox 3. Xbox 2 no longer supported. Because it's going to be on a game per game basis, right? It's like, the developers of Gears of War, Forever Day that comes out,
these names,
in 2024, they're going to be making a decision when they start development, like which Xboxes do we want to support? Like if it goes along this path that they're describing.
Yeah. Well, to me, especially with the Xbox idea, I think that would be great. But unfortunately, what we've seen, if the past is any indication, nobody comes up with any reasonable names. Look at Nintendo, PlayStation. They've done the numerical thing, and it's worked out.
Yeah,
until now.
It doesn't work anymore. Yeah.
But for me, the PlayStation Pro would have just been called the PlayStation. I think that would have been great.
You know what they announced actually is the PSP. PlayStation Pro.
PlayStation Pro
is back.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna wear this one around your neck, though.
Remember the rumor? Yeah, you can if you're a fucking bodybuilder.
Fucking Flavo Flav with a fucking PlayStation Pro.
You spin it and knock your teeth out. Yeah.
Or that Big Mac console around your neck, Yeah. It's like a club sandwich.
Somebody better Photoshop that, like a Big Mac like a Big Mac colored PlayStation Pro. I'd love to see that.
Make it a deep skin for it.
There's going to be a skin, guaranteed. When Andrew House picked it up, man, I saw a vein pop out the side of his neck. I was like, holy shit! Dude. He was like 4 foot tall when he picked it up. The thing was so fucking big.
It did look huge. I don't know how big that guy is. I suspect he's pretty short. Because the thing looked huge.
It looked like his entire upper body was covered by PlayStation.
Yeah. And it didn't look alike.
That's something we didn't actually mention is just quickly, that conference was awkward too. That was something I didn't even think about. Like that was an awkward conference because
that was the worst
people were barely excited. Yeah, it was bad.
Well, the thing was, there was like one guy clapping.
They were trying. Here's the thing: is they're trying to like portray the advantages of 4K and HDR by talking about it, and they have to explain this to people because they haven't seen it. So how do you do that? Like, it would have been so much easier if they could show it to you. You just, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've seen it 4K HDR, and it looks fan-fucking-tastic. I'm excited about it. Like, I have a 4K monitor that right in front of me right now, and it's like gaming on that, man. It's like, it's so incredibly, you just don't see the lines anymore. You don't see any of that stuff. It's a big deal, and I can't wait for that future. I just don't think that's where they should have been focusing their attention. I think they failed in their messaging.
Well, I watched some of their content from the PlayStation meeting on my 4K laptop, and even the games that I play in 4K on my laptop, night and day compared to 1080p. So I know that the possibilities of what you can play and how it'll be presented, but it was just a really, really bad. It's like someone being on stage and holding up some headphones, telling you how they sound.
Yeah, this is
Can't hear
best sounding headset I've ever had. Trust me.
What do they sound like?
Not a sponsor. Actually, they are a sponsor.
Trust us. Please trust us. It's good. Man.
Oh, man. Let me say before we leave, thank you guys for watching us today. It's been really, really on the back, the back of my mind coming to Beastly Thoughts. It's kind of a weekly routine that we all get into and we look forward to. And it's been 2 weeks without it for me. And I'm really, really happy to be back. And in the words of Christopher Reeve in Superman 2, I won't let you down again.
It has been a good show. Thank you for coming back, Beastly. We always enjoy having you here. Robbie, good to see you too this week. Chat, awesome to see you guys. I know you guys are having little mini arguments about PlayStation Pro, but nobody argues with that name being shitty, boy. Nobody argues with that.
No, we don't even need to bring that up. Everyone's like, PS Pro? Oh, yeah, that name
PS
fucking
Pro
sucks.
The best one was on Twitter.
Thanks, Ghost.
The best one on Twitter was somebody said when the PlayStation Pro isn't nearly as powerful as a PC, and there is no PC Pro, and I just posted a picture of the MacBook Pro.
Oh, that's fucked up. So cruel, Brian. You are so cruel, man. And what do they respond back? Just a sad face emoji?
Nothing. I don't remember.
What the fuck can you say? Damn.
This guy old bitch.
I thought it was funny. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this show. Thank you to everybody for watching. We'll see you next week.
Have an awesome week, guys. Thank you so much. Take care.
I promise I'll be here next week.
Yes.
Guaranteed.